I'm Gauri Devidayal, co-founder of the Table Magazine Street Kitchen, Iktara, and May 13. So today I'm going to share with you my thoughts on the future of dining post-COVID. There's no doubt that the lockdown has probably made a master chef or two out of us, and that it's helped us discover an innate love for cooking or not, in the case of some. But does that really mean that it's the end of dining out at restaurants? I don't think so. I think that as human beings, we're innately social animals and we crave the experience of being around people and enjoying great food in a beautiful space. And that will continue, although it might take about 6 to 9 months before we feel comfortable dining out again. So, in the meantime, what is it that us as restaurateurs need to keep in mind so that we can once again look forward to welcoming diners back? I think the key thing is going to be reassuring diners with a high degree of honesty and transparency about the precautions that we will be taking as providers of food in public spaces, of the hygiene and sanitation factors that we will be taking care of. An example of that is we've already begun delivery over the last month of our bakery brand, Mac Street Bread Co., and our Indian dining brand, Iktara. And I think that a huge part of that sort of transparency came from me myself being in the kitchen and being able to reassure customers on a regular basis of the precautions that we were taking, whether it was double packaging or the safety measures that we take within the kitchen of wearing masks, gloves, taking the temperature of our delivery riders who come in. Also very importantly, letting people know that we actually had a team that was staying in-house at the kitchen and therefore not being exposed on a daily basis because they were commuting back and forth from home. So, these were the things that we were able to do at the current time, with the means available to us to reassure people. And it went a long way to, helping people make a decision to order. But I think the important thing that I'm trying to highlight is the fact that, we were transparent, honest, and were able to reassure people. And I think that is going to be the key thing going forward once restaurants reopen when it comes to dining in at restaurants. There's been a lot of talk about contactless dining, is what it's referred to, where, you don't touch menus, you don't sort of touch people, you don't touch anything, you don't touch money. And, while that might be what seems to be the obvious, the obvious solution right now, I don't actually feel that that's where I would like to see my restaurant experience end up being. And I do hope that, we'll be able to come back at some point to a place where, people can freely dine next to other people and be able to enjoy a restaurant experience as it should be enjoyed without these kinds of restrictions. But that hinges on us as restaurateurs taking various safety measures, to reassure our diners. So, that's where I see sort of the sort of short to medium term future for restaurants. Another thing that I think is really important is going to be recognizing a change in palate of our diners, our consumers, and there may be a growing move towards vegetarianism. There may be a slight hesitation to have consume as much meat and sort of meat, chicken, seafood, especially in a raw form. And I think recognizing that we will see a change in the kind of menu engineering that happens, whether it's for delivery or restaurants. There's been a lot of progress made in the plant-based and cell-based meats movement, and we already see it in a lot of restaurants and supermarkets in the States, and now I believe it's making an appearance even with big brands in Asia. And I think that this whole situation has escalated how quickly we may see the presence of these kinds of products in India as well. So overall, I do believe that there will be a slight change in palette as well as menus. I think the point is also that restaurants will now recognize that people will value great quality and hygiene and the price it comes at, and the restaurants can no longer try and cut corners on costs, because this will not be acceptable to our diners any longer, and diners will be willing to pay a premium for this. As a result of this, I do believe that post lockdown there will be a huge correction in the number of restaurants who are not able maybe to fulfill these these new expectations and continue with their current pricing structure. So as a result of that, we may see a large correction in the number of restaurants out there, and as well as a correction overall for our industry, whether it comes to real estate, whether it comes to quality, as I mentioned. But the primary factor is going to be hygiene and sanitation. So I've been saying this for a while, that I think last year, 2019, was all about sustainability, and 2020 is going to be all about hygiene. And so while soap is the new hope, we do believe that good food will always go a long way, and we really look forward to seeing diners back at the table in May 13. And until then, please do enjoy ordering in our breads and Indian food from Max Street Bread Co. in Tara. And I really look forward to seeing everyone in person very soon. Thank you.